Getting closer to Christmas, the only thing we're looking forward to is our Spotify Wrapped playlist. I mean, why not? A list that reminds us of our moods, chills, or vibes throughout the entire year. And on top of that, it includes our favorite artists, favorite songs, and a plethora of other goodies. Well, no matter how our year has gone, Spotify is the only thing that makes us happy. That's why in today's video, we're going to tell you the success story of Spotify. So make sure to watch this video till the end. That being said, let's begin. Around 2006, the music industry landscape was very different from what it is today. Peer-to-peer music sharing service Napster went extinct after the Recording Industry Association of America's lawyers hunted it to extinction. In addition, internet radio was still in its infancy. It would be 2 more years before iHeartRadio and Pandora launched their respective online radio stations. In fact, the revenue had fallen from $25.2 billion in 1999 to $19.4 billion, and even the music industry itself was struggling. The sales of physical media such as CDs had fallen consistently for the past several years, and the record labels themselves seemed to have few ideas. So Daniel Ek and Martin Lorentzon, 2 Swedish serial entrepreneurs, saw this as an incredible opportunity. Both men believed there had to be a better way for people to discover and listen to new music, so they began brainstorming ideas. And that idea turns out to be Spotify. The real genius of Spotify was that it found a niche between 2 extremes in the music market. On one end was Napster, which was hugely popular but illegal. On the other hand, Apple's iTunes sold songs for as much as $2 each. There's a huge gap between these 2 extremes where Spotify could thrive. At first, Ek and Lorentzon talked about creating a peer-to-peer service like Napster. However, it soon became clear that piracy had limits beyond being illegal. It took a while to download a song. Audio quality on pirated tracks varied a lot. Even popular torrents were infected with malware. Even though piracy is a big problem, Ek believes people don't set out to do it. Basically, he was just looking for a better way to discover and listen to music. In every way, Spotify made Napster better than it ever was. With Spotify, you get high-quality audio instantly, no downloads, and completely legal. However, despite their ambitious vision, Ek and Lorentzon would have to invest heavily in engineering to make Spotify work. Since Spotify competes with piracy and owning physical media, Ek and Lorentzon knew that nailing their product was key to success. Initial development of Spotify's product, Spotify AB, started in Sweden in 2006, and in just 4 months, the company built a working prototype. And almost a year later, Spotify AB went into closed beta. Ek wanted Spotify to be seamless. To achieve this, Ek's engineering team patched together the quickest possible Spotify AB prototype. However, Ek was just as obsessed with making Spotify AB as lightweight and responsive as possible. In the human brain, anything less than 250 milliseconds is considered instant, so Ek wanted Spotify users to think they owned every song ever recorded. However, Ek's obsession with technical excellence went beyond user experience. Spotify's main competitive advantage was its frictionless experience. Ek thought the only way to compete with free music was to make Spotify's experience so great that users would pay $10 per month, even though they could easily download torrents. The company contacted influential music bloggers in Sweden to get them to try the new product, and it worked like a charm. In fact, the beta testers were surprised at how good Spotify's product was, even so early in its development. After just 1 year, Spotify had a product music bloggers were excited about, and they helped spread the word. During its Series A and B rounds, Spotify raised more than $85 million, mainly used for hiring top engineering talent. To find skilled technical talent, Spotify did not have to look very hard. As word spread quickly among tech circles of a new music app from Sweden, the company went on a hiring spree to keep up with product development. The Spotify team grew, and so did their business scale. Many startups think that the only way to grow is to scale quickly, but Spotify focused on developing a solid product and growing slowly by limiting invites. With this approach, Spotify maintained its focus on product development, planned for and managed steady, gradual user growth, and created an air of exclusivity around its product. Because Spotify understood the music market well and was on the right side of a declining industry, it was the perfect time for the company to launch. As a result of this timing and market knowledge, the company got its first licensing deals. However, when global music industry had dropped to $16.9 billion by the time Spotify launched in Sweden in 2008, and the decline wasn't slowing down. Due to declining sales, the big four American record labels, EMI, Sony, Universal, and Warner Music, and a few smaller labels decided to let Eck use their back catalogs outside of the US. And this led to the Big Four becoming Spotify's biggest shareholders, receiving almost 1/5 of the company for just 100,000 Swedish krona. Even without the Sweetheart stock deal, Eck sold his idea to the label executives easily. In fact, in 2008, Universal Music Sweden's Per Sundin and several other label execs were blown away by a demo of Spotify's product in London. It's hard to overstate how important this initial Spotify Big Four deal was. Without the deal with the labels, Spotify wouldn't exist. This isn't a coincidence that Eck announced the licensing deals and Spotify's launch at the same time. It's as if Spotify needed the labels to reach young music fans as much as they needed Spotify. Honestly, the record labels didn't have much to lose by supporting Eck. Sales and revenue were down, so labels needed to do something. Labels wouldn't have lost out much if Eck's product didn't take off. Their biggest loss would have been losing what little money they had paid to become Spotify's biggest shareholders when they signed over their back catalogs. In addition, legacy record labels had no idea how people consumed and shared digital music. It was so hard for the major labels to see the opportunity for digital music distribution that was right in front of them. It's possible Napster could have leveraged similar deals, but the labels saw it as an existential threat, not a potential partner. Eventually, the labels sued, and the rest is history. A second major event that shaped Spotify's growth came in 2009, when early Facebook investor and Napster founder Sean Parker wrote a 1,700-word love letter to Spotify. In August 2009, Parker emailed Eck about the product after discovering it a few weeks earlier. Even at that early stage, Parker was impressed with Eck's product, like all the label execs before him. In particular, Parker liked Spotify's user interface and its social sharing functionality, which let users share playlists with friends. Parker was so impressed with Spotify's early product that he introduced a friend to Spotify. That friend was Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, who was similarly impressed by Eck's product. Parker's intervention led to Spotify's official integration into Facebook, which boosted Spotify's growth when it launched in the US. Before that, however, Spotify needed to make its way across the Atlantic from Europe. By 2011, Spotify had more than 10 million tracks in its catalog, 1 million music fans using its service across 7 European countries, and more than $100 million in the bank. The freemium growth engine Spotify had built needed more users, and it would find them in America. And to bring Spotify to the US, the company partnered with some of America's biggest brands, including Chevrolet, Coca-Cola, Motorola, Reebok, and Sprite, among others. This approach was clever because it wasn't partnered with major advertisers. That's how Spotify leveraged the same growth strategy it had in Europe. Spotify ran display ads on its freemium product for American launch partners. In exchange, the American advertisers gave away exclusive Spotify invitations to their social audiences. This brought the advertisers traffic and brand awareness, staggered Spotify's early growth in the US by releasing invitations in limited quantities, and maintained the exclusivity that generated so much buzz by not letting everyone get on it right away. When Spotify first came to the US, its freemium ad-supported service looked a lot like what we know and love today. Spotify freemium users could listen to millions of songs, share playlists, and play local music. Even though Spotify's freemium version had its limitations, it still offered an intuitive, rewarding music listening experience that Eck envisioned years ago. Its engineering team is now exploring several new technologies that will help it improve its product even further, including deep learning techniques that analyze the waveforms of individual audio tracks, not just the metadata of artists and albums, to make more intelligent and personalized recommendations. Apart from pricing and music selection, there's not a lot to differentiate Spotify from its closest competitors. Additionally, it shows how Spotify is uniquely capable of personalization at scale. No doubt it's the best platform not just for streaming music, but for podcasts too. Well, this was about Spotify. We hope that you liked the video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, and for more such content, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.